Hey guys, so the video I'm making today is all about my rook piercing. And for those of you that don't know, the rook piercing is this little guy in here. Uber cute. No. But yeah. So the first time I ever saw that piercing was actually on Sammy from The Beauty Crush. And yeah, like I saw it in one of her piercing videos, or piercing and tattoos videos, and I just fell in love with it. And at that time, I was like obsessed with her. She was like my girl crush. And I was like, oh my god, you know, it's so cute, it's so different, you know, nobody, I had never seen anybody with it except besides her. So I'm like, oh my god, you know, that's so cute, nobody else is gonna have it, blah, 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 whatever. So yeah, so I fell in love with it, and I showed it to my mom, and I was like, look, Ma, isn't this cute, you know, I love it, whatever. My mom was like, yeah, good for her, she has it, it looks cute on her. And my mom's the type of person that is completely against, like, piercings and tattoos, so I kind of already knew that was the reaction I was going to get from her. Sorry. And, so yeah, and, like, a couple days later, I'm like, you know, hey, Ma, I want to get this. She's like, you're kidding me, right? I'm like, no, you know, I like it. I think it's cute. You know, I just got paid. I think I got it. My mom was like, well, you know what? It's up to you. It was like a couple months after I turned 18. She's like, well, you know what? It's up to you. And if you got the money for it, you know, blah, 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 whatever. I'm like, okay, you know, great. Technically, she gave me permission for it. So one of my friends, she, had been getting pierced by this one girl, and so I'm like, okay, you know, she's got piercings from her, she hasn't died, she's perfectly fine. I'm like, okay, you know, I'll give her a try. So I texted my friend, I'm like, hey, you know, let me get your piercer's number. So she gave it to me, and I texted her, I'm like, hey, you know, do you do rook piercings and whatever? She's like, yeah. So I set up an appointment with her, me and my best friend. I went and got my rook pierced, and my best friend went and got her industrial pierced. So we went. And, okay, my friend's pierces out of her house, which I know sounds kind of sketchy, and when she first told me that, I was like, oh, you know, this is awkward, or, you know, I like, how safe is that? But I'm like, you know what, whatever, for 20 bucks, if it rejects, I'll just take it out, you know, who cares? So we went and we showed up to her house, and she was like very professional about it. She had like an entire room like devoted to just piercing, and she had her chair and all of her piercing stuff in there. And she like sanitizes everything in front of you. It was like very professional. I was really surprised. I thought it was just gonna be like, oh, here, sit on my couch, let me just poke you, you know. But no, it was very professional. So I went first. And I sat in the chair, and she, like, marked it with, you know, one of those little, piercing pen thingies. So she marked it. And I think when she first marked it, it was, like, a little bit too, like, in here. So, like, you could barely see it. So I'm like, okay, you know, can you just move it out a little bit? I want to be able to see it. So she did. She moved it out. And then I'm like, okay, you know, that looks fine. So she's like, okay, you know, here we go. Breathe in, breathe out. So I was like, she put it through. It took 2 seconds. It didn't even hurt. It was like just the slightest little pinch. And that was it. She put it through. She left it there for a little bit while she went to get the jewelry. She got the jewelry, put it through, and that was it. The only problem she had was, like, screwing the ball on top of it. But other than that, it was perfectly fine. I didn't hear any crunching or anything. There was a little bit of blood, but that was it. It wasn't, like, gushing out, like, pouring down my shirt. It was like, it was totally bearable. It wasn't too, like, it wasn't anything out of this world. And yeah, so when I was with her, she was using this to clean it, this Band-Aid antiseptic wash. And so this was, like, my first piercing besides my earlobes, and I got those done when I was a baby because I'm Mexican, and Mexicans like to pierce their children's ears when they're, like, a month old. So yeah. So I went and got this. I got it from Walmart. It was $4. And I also got this little guy. It's like a little spray bottle. So I just dumped some of this into here, and I sprayed it on there, and I grabbed a Q-tip, and I would, like, clean the bottom in here, and then clean like the top in here around it and in this little crevice of your ear too, because that's where it can develop like earwax and scabs and all of that. So like in here, the bottom right here, and the top up here. So I did that like 2 to 3 times a day for like the first 2 to 3 weeks, and I thought it was completely fine. I thought it was healed. It was a little bit sore, but I'm like, okay, you know, it's a thicker piece of cartilage, you know, it's gonna be completely normal. So yeah, so I left it at that, and then like there was so much like crusty stuff on it, I thought it was actually getting tarnished. So I went to a piercing shop that was on the street for me, and I was like, hey, you know, I just got it pierced, and I think the jewelry is getting tarnished. You know, what should I do? Should I change it? You know, whatever. He's like, well, if it's still sore, leave it in there. Just stop over cleaning it, because you need some of the good bacteria to eat away the bad bacteria. So yeah. So I was like, okay, you know, I gotta stop cleaning it as often. But I made the mistake and just stopped cleaning it like completely. So it got infected. And still to this day, I've had it for, it's about to be a year next week, and it's still sore and it still hurts. So I started using the Dial soap. This guy's just a regular body wash. I just take a pea-sized amount, put it on my finger, and like work it in there, and like push it up, and then push it back down so the soap gets in there and it gets all the bacteria away. So that's what I've been doing, and this works amazing. I'm pretty sure it works even better than this. It went from being sore and tender and just hurting one day to completely fine the next day and perfectly normal. I could sleep on it. It was like it was like miraculous. But yeah, pain wise, I mean, you do feel a pinch. It was like a 2 out of 10. But it wasn't anything too unbearable. If anything, like the whole healing process was a little bit worse. But I think that's because it got infected and I stopped cleaning it. But other than that, it's not too bad. And I love this piercing so much. I think it's so cute. I think I've seen one other person at the mall with this, and that's the only person I've seen whatever, you know what I mean. I've only seen one other person with this piercing, and yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. So whoever is looking to get this piercing, I say go for it. I absolutely love it. It's not like, I don't know, I just think it's so different and so cute. Just go for it. I was gonna say something else, but I completely forgot. I don't know. But yeah, I just love it. If you have any other questions, just let me know. You can leave them as a question below, or, you know, whatever. Thumbs up if you like this. Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, if you're looking to get it, don't look at YouTube videos, because it looks a lot worse than it is. I look at them now, and I have no idea how I didn't freak out and get, chicken out, because they look so scary. But yeah, just go for it, you know, YOLO. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.